Good afternoon, sir.
Yo, this is episode 100 of the
Fuck.
Beef and Bitcoin podcast. I know. Pretty insane. Pretty insane.
Triple digits.
I can't believe it's actually here, episode 100. We've talked about this before, that we tried to make it to
long
at least
time
100
ago.
episodes. I think we were a little off. We thought we would hit 100 really quick.
I think we thought we'd hit it like
Yeah, I think we were like
March or April, and it's July now. So.
Yeah, we were trying to get to 100 by months ago, I think.
Yeah, a few months ago. It is what it is.
The whole planet got locked down, so no big deal. I think we did what we could. all things considered.
Everyone, yeah. All things being considered, how 2020 is going so far. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought the title of this episode would be, is the party just getting started? A lot of activity here. Bitcoin made its first move back towards and above 10K. I don't know where it is right now. It's just hanging out at 9,900-ish. Altcoins are pumping. Commodities are doing their thing. Silver's making moves. Gold's making moves. Stonks are making interesting moves as well. And I don't know. The topic kind of got going on Twitter a little bit, which was, is this the beginning, or is this like the end, and we're about to go back into another lull? And it's kind of hard to tell. So I thought this would be a good topic to kick around today. But how have you been doing this week, man?
I'm doing good. It's just another crazy week in the world of commodities, crypto, and I don't follow a lot of shitcoins as much as I used to, but this whole DeFi thing has just been blowing up on Twitter, at least in the crypto, Twitter, Bitcoin world. And I don't know if we want to jump into this first, but there's all these DeFi coins that I like. Well, I think Yearn Finance or YFI is the ticker, like 100x or something. I don't know. I don't follow the shit, but I just know that things are getting ridiculous again.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of these coins I have never heard of, and they are pumping. But I guess that's kind of reminiscent to 2017. A lot of coins started making moves early in 2017, and very much so in the beginning of 2018. But it makes sense. I think I saw a really good chart that I actually might have sent to you about, like, the LTC BTC ratio, how usually when Litecoin pumps, Bitcoin's bull runs start soon thereafter. So it's, is this the last kind of DeFi scam, one last pump before the market totally collapses, or is this the first of many new pumps to come? And everybody's right there right now. Just everybody's wondering, it's finally moving. Is this the start of something special? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely it feels quite I don't know how to put it. I mean, I got in spring 2018, a little after you, but it feels like things are starting to, especially the Ethereum pump. I mean, when I look at the Ethereum chart, and I have no horse in the Ethereum race, I don't own an Ethereum bag. I have no exposure to it. But when I look at like the Ethereum monthly right now, and the weekly closes in a few hours, like 6 hours. Usually we record Sunday nights, but it's like Sunday afternoon Eastern time. But so that we won't get the weekly closing. But if we close anywhere like it is right now, and I know a lot of people are saying, oh, there's a lot of resistance here at 350, whatever. I'm just looking at this and I'm thinking like the next stop for this is like $400. Like if we close up like this, it's going to 400 again. At least, and maybe reverse, but who knows? If Ethereum pumps, I don't know what that means for all the 0x tokens or whatever, all the
Right.
the ERC20, excuse me, tokens. Does that mean they fucking go up too? Because there's a fuck ton of those.
Right.
There's a fuck ton of those, man.
No, it's true. There's so many shit coins out there, and it almost makes me feel like, when you think back to the .com bubble, that bubble got into the trillions of dollars, and that was 2001 fiat shitcoin money. So I can only imagine, inflation adjusted, how much in 2020 dollars that could be today. And it reminds me so much of that, because you could have just dozens and dozens of alts and other projects become severely overvalued, very quickly. Obviously with Bitcoin rising as well, but it could really get into the trillions this time around, which is exciting and super scary at the same time.
Yeah, no, and again, $20 trillion of liquidity was pumped into the markets in the past few months by central banks. So again, knowing the price of anything is impossible. Nothing has a correct value. We don't have a sound form of money. The money we have is unsound. They're printing at all demands to keep certain asset prices up, but liquidity is unbiased and it spreads to everything, and that includes crypto. You know, and after seeing what precious metals last a few months, but the last week, like gold, silver, platinum, um, etc., the way they've moved, it wouldn't surprise me, especially if Bitcoin can close up above 10K on the weekly, which again is 6 hours away from that close. If we can close above 10K, but even right now the weekly doesn't look terrible at 99.20 on a Bitstamp. We close up above 10K, we might be very quickly, another week or two maybe, back to 13, 14K area, and it'll happen quick because again, $1,000 move at 10,000 is 10%. It's not that big.
Right.
It's not that big.
Yeah.
And the last monthly candle, June didn't look too hot, but the way this July is closing, which closes in 5 days, could mean huge implications here, especially if we close above 10,400. So that's something to keep an eye on here. It could be that time. If it is, then fucking buckle up. I don't want to get hope. Give anyone hopium or anything.
Yeah, no, of course. It's real. You can tell that it's real because we're actually talking about it right now. Literally, the price is up, I don't know, a couple percent, and then it's like sentiment has totally shifted, and you can feel it in the air instantly. I mean, everybody's feeling like completely different. So it's good for us to make sure you and I kind of check each other on that. But that's not to say I don't think you could be right. Things move super fast. We went from 10K to 20K in 2017 in like 2 weeks. It just moves really, really fast when it kind of chooses to do its thing. So I think that's also important to recognize because there are a lot more people that are getting ready for getting in this time around who are here really early, who have, gotten into Bitcoin crypto space in 2019 in the bear market. You have a whole new group of people who are just getting interested in 2019, 2020, and they're excited for sure. So it feels like there's a lot more people getting ready to jump in, and they have no idea how fast things can start to happen.
Yeah, and another thing, since 2017 and early 2018, the on-ramps, there's so many more on-ramps for fiat and just buying Bitcoin, and the ease to buy Bitcoin, I guess other cryptos too. That's a huge difference too in the last 3 years roughly. That's, obviously there's the compliance and regulatory side, which is stepped up, but the ability to buy Bitcoin is much easier now than it was even in mid-2017, 3 years ago. And it'll be interesting to see, again, people forget crypto trades 24/7, 365. There's no, overnight futures limit or anything. So these coins can move 50% overnight, and then the next day drop 25%, and then the next day move up 200%. So anything is possible. And that's what people forget. Like it's easy in hindsight to look at like 2017 and be like, oh, it was easy to buy something and hold it all year. Fuck no. Like when you look at Ethereum, like shit like Ethereum, when it, went from fucking, I don't know, under $8 to up to 400, and then 400 back to 140 in a few weeks. Like that's not easy to fucking just lose half of your money, over half of your money in 3 weeks. And I know people, it's not, because it's fucking fiat, fucking pasted on your fucking Blockfolio app, and when it goes from X to, let's say, it goes from $10 to $5 or $4, whatever, because it's a 60% drawdown, and in some of these moves before it fucking moves again higher. That's tough for people to hold on, so.
Even just those last few weeks of December 2017 were unbelievable. Nobody was really ready for any of that.
Oh, no,
and it happened. It happened. It just happened so fast, but it happened fast to the point where you felt like a genius, dude. The euphoria was real. It
Oh,
really did feel like that was total permanent plateau. Like
oh, permanent
you
plateau, 100%.
just
That was like we're going to a
total,
$1 trillion market
total
cap.
danger. Yeah.
Like it was like all the people who told me crypto is fucking dumb could suck my dick. Like no, it was like I know I shouldn't be saying that on this podcast, but fuck it. So we swear. But like it was great. It was like the people who like I can't tell you how many people who like told me in the summer that it was stupid, that I was wasting time, and then oh, I can't sign up for this exchange. Yeah, motherfucker, I gave you 6 months in advance to make money and you didn't do shit, and now you want to
Yeah.
buy because the price is up. Well, too late. And again, it's like those people, they come in December, they either get wrecked or they get pissy because they can't get anything, and then they're like, oh, it'll never happen again, or this and that. And it was like there are plenty of opportunities to make money in crypto on both sides of the trade, whether it was short or long side, in the years between. Like there's no way around that. Like in the March and April bottom for Bitcoin and the alts in spring of 2018, everything doubled or tripled. That's not in a month too. It was in a month's time. I mean, and then obviously we bled out the rest of 2018. But again, the 2018 bottom in December, most coins rallied 400, 500% from that bottom. Not all, but like Litecoin, Ethereum. I don't think Ripple did that great from that bottom, but it's still a lot of coins. So my point is like people come into space and then they all like when they come into a euphoria moment, they get all pissy because either A, they lose money, or B, they just say they miss out. There's always opportunity in markets. It's just you got to be patient and just wait is really what it is, and understand what the fuck you're doing too. You know, know your strategy, know what you're doing, whether it's you're accumulating something in the hopes that in 5 years that you're going to be able to sell it to a greater pool at X amount, or like, you're accumulating something because you think in 20 years it's going to be worth, you're thinking you're buying the next Amazon per se in
Right.
19, or you're buying the Amazon bottom of like 2003 or whatever.
Right.
But just know understand your strategy if you're coming into whether you're just buying Bitcoin or whether you're buying shit coins or whether you're buying equities right now. I don't care what the fuck you're buying. Know your strategy because these markets move fast, even the equity markets. I mean, like what we experienced in March was individual stocks losing 70% of their market cap in 3 to 4 weeks. So, just bear in mind that things move, especially now with the amount of fuckery that central banks have done by dumping liquidity into the markets.
Yeah. No, one thing I wanted to touch on that you had brought up there was the on ramps. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so much different this time around because I've seen a couple memes about it. I'm actually thinking about making one, and I haven't I haven't thought about it enough yet. But it took so long to go from making the decision of I want to buy Bitcoin or I want to buy shit coins or whatever in 2017. It took weeks to go from I want to do that to actually being able to buy your first whatever. It took so long for the onboarding process. All the KYC, pictures of driver's
Oh,
license,
dude, that's
passport, just
fucking.
a lot of nonsense. And even if you wanted to do the easiest thing and sign up for Coinbase in 2017, it still took a long time and still wasn't super intuitive or easy to use. It takes minutes to sign up for Cash App and buy your first Bitcoin, assuming you don't already have Cash App. It takes minutes to sign up for Swan Bitcoin and decide you want to buy $25 a week worth of Bitcoin and like make that decision, decide that you want to do that, and then go and do it. It's so much easier this time around. So I'm hoping that we run into a little bit of issues, just so that's a little hint to me that there's a ton of demand and a lot of people trying to jump in to Bitcoin. But also to touch on, just the thoughts of strategies of what you're doing. I think there's a big difference between just like the two things I mentioned. You decide you want to stack sats for 10 to 20 years from now, and that's a whole different decision and thought process of, oh, well, maybe I want to sign up for Swan and buy $10 a week, 25, or pick a number, a week, month, whatever. That's a totally different decision to make than it is to, ooh, the price is going up, I just want to gamble and have a good time on altcoins or something like that. Two totally different decisions that are both interested in like this brand new ecosystem in space.
is definitely there's different strategies to everything, and the best thing I can say is pick something, find your edge, and use and abuse that edge. If you have an edge in something, use it. Whether that's your ability to sit through fucking swings, and just be
Right.
use your edge, find your edge in this. Because like a lot of people fucking crushed it, even when prices fell in the end of early 2018, we're still up ungodly amounts because they just were able to sit all of 2017 on their hands, whether they had bought Bitcoin or certain shitcoins. And so again, it's the ability to understand what you're into, and kind of understanding market sentiment too. That's a huge thing. And this, as you were saying, this whole DeFi thing, this farming YFI or urine, like this fucking, if you're watching, you can see it. It's fucking great. It's this fucking IQ curve, and it's like the fucking very dull end 50 IQ. It's like the fucking typical fucking, like, I don't even know, like low IQ fucking what's the name of those memes? Wojak.
Wojak memes.
Yeah, Wojak with like a rounded. It just, if you can see, you'd understand. And it's like farming YFI, and then it's like at like 100 IQ. It's angry Wojak crying, "What the fuck? How can these weebs, neats, and autists be yielding 1,000% average per year?" Or is it APR? Is that
APR
average per year? I got that right? I'm not retarded, am I? Otherwise, I'm hanging out at the $50. I'm the farming YFI. I'm on the left end over here. That's what I'm at. I got the doll end, and then there must be a catch. And then there's like the typical Chad face at 150 farming YFI, and it's just hilarious. It was just response because there's somebody tweeted. I realized there are two types of people who have been making a killing on DeFi: the 130 plus IQ and the sub 70 IQ. Everyone else has been left on the sideline and watching in disbelief. Luckily, someone says, luckily, I'm incredibly stupid.
Oh, Udi.
Yeah, it just.
No, it's great. I mean, clearly I fall into that 100 IQ category because I'm looking at it like like BitConnect. I'm like, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. And then everybody who's dumb is pretty much absolutely crushing it on DeFi yield farming. And then everybody highly intelligent is like, well, I know this is a scam, but I'm pretty much going to do it anyway because I'm going to yield farm and earn whatever.
Yeah. I'm looking at this fucking another one. It's sub 95 IQ. I don't understand this shit, and I literally FOMO'd into a $1 stablecoin at $4. But somehow I'm already up 5x already, thanks to the Anon who introduced this shit to me. And then there's like the 95 to 115 IQ. Guys, actually it's a Ponzi, so better get out ASAP. Warned you, screen cap this. And then there's the over 130 IQ with his brain that makes a bed with a female brain body on top of him, riding in the mounted position. Just for those that are just to picture it, and it's like finally gonna make it. AMPL is a new paradigm, already at 40x, never selling. Last missing piece for crypto is non-correlation to Bitcoin. Will eat all stablecoins alive. So it's the best. And then I just have to read this last one. It's like 50 to 75 IQ. 75 IQ, longing YFI, 75 to 90 IQ, farming YFI, 90 to 110 IQ, wrecked, 110 to 125 IQ, farming YFI, 125 to 150 IQ, longing YFI. I find it fucking hilarious.
Yeah, no, the whole thing is absolutely absurd.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a coin chart. I'm trying to find the 100 because I know at 100x. I'm trying to find a chart though that shows it 100x in, because it went from something stupid. Like I only get July 22nd, but apparently at 100x at its peak.
Yeah, I mean, I believe it,
dude. The total circulating supply is 30,000 coins. I mean, come on. And the circulating supply is 28,923 right now, and the total supply is 30,000 coins. I mean, dude, this thing's gonna be trading at like $20,000 a coin until it just dumps into oblivion. It's gonna surpass Bitcoin. When does one YFI equal one BTC? That's where we're heading. Seriously, you don't believe me?
No, yeah, that's true.
30,000 fucking supply. I mean, there's 28,923 right now. Fucking let's see, where is the Bitcoin price? Yeah, it's trading at 0.37 BTC.
That's a lot.
I know. That's a lot. That's a
Yeah,
lot.
that's a lot.
I know. It's like let's see if ZEC since ZEC BTC, is that what it is?
Yeah, if you look at the
Zcash.
longest,
I'm trying to
yeah,
find
I
the
forget which chart.
there it
Yeah, there it
is.
is.
There it is. When we
Yeah,
get
when
to
Zcash launched, it was like extremely overvalued. It was insane.
25 Zcash to 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah, it was insane.
So that's what everyone's longing for in the Bitcoin world. They're like, okay, one day we shall return. I don't even. I'm curious now. I'm delving into shitcoins. I haven't done that in a long time. Like just looking in general. I'm just trying to see how much circling supply this has. ZEC has. It says circling supply 9.6 million. So far, I don't know what Bitcoin's circling supply is right now. Do you know what it is? It's
Aren't we at like 18 million?
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Something like that.
I gotta look now.
18,
Yeah,
almost 18 and a
18.4.
half million.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
almost
cool.
18. So it's got half the supply of Bitcoin. So it very well could.
No, a lot of these, and people have been asking me a little bit on the Instagram page, and I was like, listen, I'm not touching alts because I've touched the stove once before and got burned. It's not fun. I'm not gonna do that. And my whole framework of how I think about Bitcoin and this whole space has changed completely. Where
Yeah.
I'm accumulating Bitcoin for the future. If you want to have a little slice that you want to sell to, reward yourself, by all means, you can feel free to do that. But this whole thing is just, it gets really wild with the shitcoin stuff. The only thing that interests me about shitcoins is I think it's a good leading indicator for just what's to come. That's all. And that's fine. And, people, if you want to speculate on it, that's great. I hope they start pumping because Bitcoin is either right behind them or right ahead of them in this whole game. So it's totally fine. I'm just not going to touch the stove anymore. That's not fun.
Not touch the stove. Yep. It burns. It burns.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those things where it's like the next freaking week where this monthly candle closes on Bitcoin has huge implications for the rest of the year, for the last 4 months. Like, the 4 month. Oh no, the 4 month doesn't close yet. Shit. I even use 4 month candles because they kind of are cool. But no, I'm generally wondering where this is gonna close. That 2 month candle, that fucking doji, that March candlestick. Yeah, I know, it's so wild. And from a price action perspective, that's pretty good, showing rejection on a very, very high time frame. So yeah. I mean, and the fact that it was eaten up that quickly means there's obviously demand for Bitcoin down there, and people stepped in and bought, and
no, that's a good point. The hodlers, when you can see that kind of huge buy up, there's hodlers at every price. And the good thing about new hodlers coming on board is their floor is so much higher than yours, right? So, Bitcoin wicks down to 4K. People who have been in since 2017 are like, fuck it, I'm going to take a nice little chunk out of this and buy it up. Whereas somebody who's just getting in the last couple of months, now if it drops back down to 9,000, they're like, oh, it's cheap again. I got to buy some, right? Like their whole experience with this is different. So as more hodlers come on board, it's always going to be a good thing because everybody's got a different floor price where they're stepping in to buy it up.
Yeah, no, it's definitely different. And there's obviously people who have been holding Bitcoin sub triple digits, which is a completely different perspective.
Right.
Totally. It's like, why would you even want to buy one above $1,000?
Yeah, I wonder if I bought like under $1,000 Bitcoin, I guess it depends how much you get, right? What kind of position you have where you're like can afford to not buy more of it. But on the other hand, let's say you bought 100 Bitcoin under $1,000 somehow, right? You spent a little bit.
Let's say you bought it $200 in the 2015 time frame. I'm just looking at the chart. That's
right.
Nice. So 20 grand in there.
Yeah. Let's say you have 100 Bitcoin that you bought pretty cheap. Let's say you also have a good job, right? And you want to save your money in a different way, or you want to do something with your money. You've saved up your emergency fund. What are you going to do with that cash? So let's say you're already sitting on a heavy Bitcoin bag. Would you still buy more? Would you? Like, I don't know. I feel like I would, because I don't know what else to buy at this point. Everything sucks, in my opinion. From like, I don't want to go buy real estate. I don't really want to buy stocks. I don't like. What else do you buy if you already have a heavy bag? I don't know. Maybe you still would. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, no, it is one of those things that's tough to tell. Obviously, like, I'm one of those people that under the belief that the more Bitcoin you can accumulate while it's under 20K, the better.
Right.
And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we never go back to 20K. But I think the way that central bank policy has been going, and seeing the price action recently on precious metals and obviously equities, it kind of makes me think that there's no other option but up.
No, I know. And I think that's kind of the moral of the story here. The central banks globally have been extremely irresponsible and are trying to do whatever they can to save this mess. And it shows on the charts that people are concerned and are seeing. I mean, even on the screen here, you have like this monster move in silver. And to me, I know Safe says this sometimes. It's like Safe's like silver is like the shit coin of something, but it's like, it reminds me of Litecoin in the sense where it's like Litecoin moves and as like this leading indicator, and silver's like waving the red flag, like hello, hello, hello. Is anybody else seeing the fucking money printing that's going on here? It's a good signal, in my opinion.
Dude, look at that 6-month candle. Fucking, again, the same thing as Bitcoin, except on even a higher time frame. Just a giant doji. I mean, the second half of this year, we could be at fucking $45 silver. It wouldn't even surprise me if it happened, especially considering the amount of money printing that's happened and the physical demand side for silver. You can't get silver. I mean, the futures now trade at $22 or whatever, $22.76 on the close on Friday. But the physical demand, and I don't own any physical silver. I probably will own a lot one day, and probably physical gold too. But I know for a fact that like people, at least even up until recently, when it was below, silver's price was below $20 on the futures, you couldn't get it for like the physical ounce of silver for under $20. Right. You were only able to get it 22, 23, 24. I can only imagine the premium on physical silver now is trading higher, maybe 26, 27. It wouldn't surprise me, 25 area. Interesting times ahead. The second half of this year, especially because they have a fucking stupid election in America. So everything's getting politically driven. And on top of that, I didn't even realize this until I listened to a podcast not too long ago. There is no fucking budget ceiling through June of 2021 for the U.S. So there's so many implications with this election too.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't even like talking politics, but obviously one side in America, which is the Democratic Party, is a very big fan. And not that we didn't become a socialist country under Donald Trump because we gave free money out to everyone. So we already are a socialist country. But it's a scary implication, hypothetical situation that the Trump loses the presidency and a Democratic presidency comes in. They can spend unlimited amounts of money and implement forever, universal basic income, which would only distort wealth inequality, even though people would think it would make it better. It would only make wealth inequality because what they would do is like, oh, here's your $1,200 a week or whatever they're giving people, and people would be happy. But guess what? They're bailing other people out to the tunes of billions and trillions of dollars in a lot of other places. Because it doesn't matter how much money you print if there's no productivity, if people aren't going out and producing shit or doing a good or service, etc. Then that it just fucking doesn't work. You can print all the money you want, but if you aren't producing shit and you aren't making shit, it doesn't work. Nothing good comes to that.
Right. No, it's a good point that there are tremendous implications with that for all markets globally. I'd love to think that Bitcoin would be unaffected, but obviously it wouldn't. That's dumb to think. Everything matters. But one last topic to kind of jump into was the kind of big news, actually. The U.S. Office of the Controller of the Currency, the OCC, announced that national savings banks and federal savings associations can now provide cryptocurrency custody services to their customers. It's pretty big news. One quick quote: "The opinion clarifies that the banks can continue satisfying their customers' needs for safeguarding their most valuable assets, which today, for tens of millions of Americans, includes cryptocurrency." Now, the other interesting thing about this was that the acting controller, Brian Brooks, is the former chief legal officer for Coinbase. And he took office less than 2 months ago after the departure of Joseph Otting. Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see a little bit of the regulatory revolving door starting to happen in this industry. You could look at it as a pro or a con, right? It's a pro that, hey, this guy used to work at Coinbase. Hopefully he has sent a few Bitcoin transactions in his day. He knows a little bit about it. Some Bitcoins. Yeah, so hopefully this guy knows a little bit of what he's talking about. Now he can perhaps push things through that would make things easier. But on the other hand, typically when the state starts getting involved in stuff, it makes it worse. So I'm 50-50 on this, but I think it's a good thing to note that we're starting to see the revolving door happen. So it's but I think the real thing is there's starting to be demand for this, right? You have people who want to hold Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or whatever, and they surprisingly still trust their bank. Like that's who they want to hold their valuable stuff. And I hope that it actually leads to banks going back to their original intention, which is holding valuable stuff like money warehousing or warehousing gold, a place to protect and keep your valuables, even if you have to pay a fee for it. So I think that's a good step in the right direction. But what do you think? Is this bullish, bearish? I don't know. You tell me.
It's bullish, and I don't want to be the asshole to correct you, but it's the U.S. Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. I had that libertarian asshole guy, whatever, because it's Comptroller of the Currency. It's a weird Yeah, I know it's a really weird name, but I've read this name with the OCC. I've read this a gazillion times, and that comptroller is just a weird name, but it always stands out to me. It's funny because 3 years ago, summer of 2017, even when the crypto bubble was really starting to fuel up and really starting to run, then there was not banks, institutions were barely giving crypto, Bitcoin, whatever digital currencies the light of day. And it's funny how quickly we've came in the last 3 years to now where it's mainstream media publications like Bloomberg, Reuters, etc., are all just publishing shit about how all these banks want to go digital. And again, I kind of come from the side that, hey, we don't want to we don't want to give away all our cash for this digital currency, because I'm a little worried in the more concerned side of financial panopticon and kind of like what's happened with Patreon and PayPal, where people just get outright banned. And obviously this is another one of those things for Bitcoin. But again, at the end of the day, having a physical medium exchange is still important to me, especially in the digital area and the financial panopticon we live in.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. With all the talk of going cashless society, this and that.
Everywhere, dude. It's pushed so hard.
I know it's pushed super hard, and I also think people still like cash, surprisingly. There's a small minority of people who really like using cash. I mean, I'm from Philadelphia. Philadelphia's a cash-heavy city, dude. A lot of people keep cash on them. A lot of people, especially in the city.
There's the way I look at cash is generally either poor people or people who have fuck you money. It's generally those two. The people that fall in the middle class are generally more inclined to use credit cards, from what I can tell and stuff. But it generally with cash, it's generally either the lower income side or the people that fuck you money and they want to use cash. Cash is just nobody turns someone down when they give them $200 for the dinner, or what I mean, stuff like that. It's a statement type of thing.
No, yeah, I like having cash. I like paper money for sure.
Money. It makes you feel like a fucking baller. Okay.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
until we're trading open dimes like USB sticks with Bitcoin on them is like cash. Until then, dude, I like paper money. It's cool. I like having cash.
Physical fungible money that the government can't see what I'm spending on.
No, that's a good point. Good fungible money, cash works very well. You know what? It works very well as long as it's being accepted, and I think that's very much the story of Bitcoin too. It's like, yeah, Bitcoin's great, but it's not helpful if nobody wants it or if nobody's accepting it for goods or services. And that's what makes cash so good is as long as people are accepting it, it's fantastic to keep around. The only times I run into it is where stores literally have a sign that says no cash accepted, or
So that's
for X and
ridiculous.
X reason, like no cash accepted. And I was like, damn, like, there are times if it keeps heading in that direction, less and less people will want cash. But I hope that if the reason is because they prefer to go digital, I hope somehow Bitcoin can pick up the slack of where like paper money isn't being used as much. I would like that. That would be okay for me if Bitcoin can pick up a little slack where like paper money is not being used as cash because of I don't know if it's like a dirty thing or it's just so much easier from an accounting standpoint from like a food truck to put the QR code or do it on whatever Square or something like that. Like I could get how you don't want to have to handle the money for whatever reason. I guess I can understand it, but I hope that
I mean,
digitally you can accept cash, right? So
maybe
I
one day I can go to Starbucks and get a coffee with Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi and pay with my fucking with my yield farming coins.
yeah, something like that. Hopefully, is in our
And
future
speaking
someday.
of the dollar, since we were talking about fiat and shitcoins, the dollar index just broke through kind of a important kind of little resistance or support, excuse me, and it looks like the dollar index is going to be plunging here in the next few months
Yeah,
to
that's
88.
scary.
Yeah, and so and you're seeing it across the commodities. We're seeing gold, silver, platinum, palladium, etc. pump, and that's why we're also when you look at the euro USD, even though I thought the euro was going to die at one point, it has been saved now, and it looks like euro on a high time frame aspect is heading back to 1.25 per dollar or whatever, or euro USD whatever. So I don't
So,
know.
what do you think the macro trend is? Reason for that?
I'm not a fucking genius at all on this. I just look at charts, and I probably should listen to some smart people talking on a podcast so I could formulate an opinion on this. No, it's a good question. Part of it obviously is the money printing and lower interest rates. Like if we
Mhm.
hiked interest rates, like
It's over.
yeah, no, dude, everyone would fucking go for dollars. I mean, dude, China has 3% interest rates right now. Like the 10-year
Mm,
yield right now is at fucking, and I don't know exactly which bond that is for China or whatever that interest rate
yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah.
but it might be a 10-year yield or 10-year or 5-year. But the 10-year in the U.S. is paying 60 basis points. I mean, you'd be out of your and fucking insane to get 60 basis points, a year. It's a ridiculously little amount of money, and it's like, how do you expect, like, let's say someone who's 80, who's 60 years old now and has saved up 2 million for retirement and they, you know, maybe 20 years ago they could have stuck those in bonds yielding 5% and live the rest of their life comfortably. If you were 60 in 2000, you're born in 1940 and you saved $2 million, you could comfortably live off that 5% per year. That's 100 grand a year. Um, that's not the same now. I mean, you don't get shit, you know.
Right.
And so it's interesting to see, will the yields pump soon? I would love to see fucking yields pump. I would laugh my ass off because the central banks would be fucking losing their minds if somehow. I know everyone says the U.S. is going negative. I know every chart points to us probably going negative, but man, I don't believe in a world where there'll be negative rates in the U.S. Man, I mean, things are already getting pretty ass backwards in some of the cities in the U.S. I think negative rates will make it even more ass backwards. And again, kind of relates to how central banks fucking with the money, fucking with interest rates, all this manipulation kind of comes back, and that you can see it play out. You know,
Hmm.
so
No, yeah, I don't know. I'm just the only reason I would say that we're heading towards negative rates or that we'll at least see them is just because so many other
no,
central
I
banks
know
are
everyone
already
else.
are already there. But on the other hand, everybody's kind of expecting it. So
And
maybe
that's what
maybe
I'm
you do
thinking.
go the other way, right?
This daily candlestick on the yield will save it. No, it'd be pretty. It'd be pretty funny to me if yields doubled or tripled in the span of a few weeks here. Like, could you imagine if we just filled this void, even just back up to 1.5%, 1.4? It'd be absolutely insane. And there's no limits to the way yield moves and stuff like that, and the way bonds trade. You know what I mean? Like, bond traders are men. They are men, dude. Those things will they'll lose like 70% of the value in a day or something, and no big deal. There's no fucking limits for those, But yeah, I'm curious to see how this all plays out. I mean, I think it's a pretty good way to wrap it up. Is does the U.S. go negative by the end of the year? I think with the amount of people, as you were saying, it kind of taking the opposite, the contrary or contrarian side. I think with so many people pointing to negative yields and it becoming a very mainstream. When I say mainstream, I mean mainstream among like the finance world or whatever. That we're going to go negative in the U.S. and it's inevitable. That we might just get some retarded yield pump, or Jerome just says, "Hey, fuck it, we're raising the overnight rate to fucking 2%." I would love to see Jerome just come out and just do that, just shock the world.
Oh my god, I can't imagine. Yeah, dude, that was a good way to wrap it up. This was a good episode. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube. Leave us a comment or review on Apple Podcasts. Make sure to follow us on Spotify and shoot us a DM. Let us know what you want us to talk about. This one was a lot of fun. Stay safe out there. And get ready. Buckle up if we're actually going to make moves in the next couple weeks and enjoy it. All right. Peace.
Peace.